and welcome back to Community Rewind. Our next guest is no stranger to WLCU TV. Typically, though, he's on Dialogue on Public Issues. We're able to sneak him away for a few minutes. He's also been a chapel speaker and plans on teaching a couple classes at CU in the future. He was also a panelist in the Let's Talk discussion a couple of weeks ago. Dr. Brogdon will join us, and we'll get his thoughts on kind of what's going on in our nation and a lot more.
I think it really begins with the final 2 years of the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He really began to shift his focus, not just to issues of racial inclusion, but to issues of economic inequality. He was really challenging the class system in this country. And he foresaw this, okay? He warned about this. Okay? He knew this was gonna happen. It was already beginning to unfold when he shifted to the Poor People's Campaign toward the latter part of the movement. He knew that until this country addresses fundamental issues of racial and economic inequality, there's gonna always be unrest, and there are gonna be these sporadic and hot periods where this kind of stuff spills out into the streets. And so I think what has really brought us to this moment is, first, not really taking Dr. King seriously. Yes, we have streets named after him, we have a holiday, and we love the last part of his I Have a Dream speech, but we don't really take the substance of his thoughts seriously. And we haven't really taken up issues of inequality and inclusion. And then the way we address historical issues in this country, I think, is also a big part of that. So that's like a second piece, that history is taught as if genocide and slavery and all the systems that came out of slavery never happened. So now we have masses of white Americans who, they're not horrible people, but they just have not been educated on what has been done in this country and all of the social, political, and economic systems that are connected to this, and how it advantages whites but disadvantages African Americans and other people of color in this country. And so there's been less of a willingness to really take up and to make the kind of correctives needed to prevent these things that we're seeing today from happening. One in Ecclesiastes chapter 3 says, to every purpose there is a season. There's a time to be silent and a time to speak. And then let's go to the New Testament where it says, let us be quick to hear and slow to speak. So I think we're in a period where there are some people who have been speaking. It is a period for them to be silent. They need to be silent and to do some listening. And there have been some people who have been silent and who haven't been able to speak, that now this is their time to speak, and they are speaking, and we need to listen to them. So I think we're in this period where we need to shift who's doing the listening and who's doing the speaking. That's going to be a critical first step. And we're starting to see, in some surprising ways, a tremendous amount of progress that's being made, where you're seeing a willingness of people to stop, to suspend, jumping to a conclusion, and really trying to say, well, maybe there's something here that I need to listen to. And so they're starting to listen. I really think, number one, a lot of people don't understand that race is a social construct. Race it's an invented idea. It's the most difficult thing that's a part of my work, is to really help people to understand, no, we invented race. It didn't come from God. And in fact, we invented race to do these horrible things that we're fighting today. And it's hard to get people to understand that, and then to admit, well, I didn't own slaves, but yes, but the system benefits you. It privileges you. And so how do we unwind that and build something different? It's uphill sledding to do that, but I'm committed to it. I love it. I believe it's the work that God has called us to. And there are a lot of good people who are listening, and they're reading and they're studying and they're out here protesting. And if they're not protesting, they're sponsoring forums like this so people can be educated, so that we can do something different. And so I'm excited about what I'm seeing happening today. And in order to make this pivot and this shift, we do need people they're gonna have to do some homework. They're gonna have to do some studying. We're gonna have to get beyond some of the soundbite clips that we're getting from the 24-hour news cycle, and just spend some time kind of digging into some text, listening to some people like myself and others who have been studying this history for decades and really trying to help people to understand that if we call ourselves a Christian nation, I mean, I really think we can be better than this history. I really do think that we can be better. And I think there is an increasing interest in maybe saying, yeah, I think we can be better than we are right now. And that gives me some hope.